Cuba is only 90 miles south of the United States, but traveling there could result in heavy fines and prosecution under U.S. law. The U.S. government bans travel to Cuba as part of its ongoing economic blockade. A group of Americans have recently traveled to Cuba in order to defy the law as an act of civil disobedience. The Venceremos Brigade has been organizing such trips since 1969 in an attempt to challenge and eventually overturn the travel ban. Among those who traveled to Cuba is Malcolm Sachs.
The travel ban, our position is that it's unconstitutional. In 1958, the Supreme Court recognized that there was a right to travel, that you couldn't limit, the government couldn't limit travel based on passport controls, and in 1965, Supreme Court Justice William Douglas made a statement to the effect of the travel restrictions on travel being another way to curtail other fundamental rights, such as the right to freely associate and the freedom of the press.
The travel ban by the U.S. government was imposed in 1963, shortly after Cuba announced that it would begin the process of creating socialism. Cuba began this process by nationalizing the property of U.S. banks and corporations. Today in Cuba, the banks, factories, land, and other commanding heights of the economy are held in common, and the system of capitalism has been abolished. Desiree DeLoach, who was among those who traveled to Cuba, explained why it is illegal for Americans to visit Cuba.
Coming back from Cuba now, it's obvious why there is a travel ban. America, and the U.S. government, its imperialistic ways don't want us to see what this, utopia looks like. It's by no means perfect. There's plenty of room for improvement. However, the government is for the people and by the people, actually, not like we have over here in the United States. And they get a say-so in every single aspect of everyday life that goes on. They care about their people. Their healthcare system is universal. Education is completely free. So America doesn't want its citizens to see what that's like, because then they will come back and they will continue to try to fight for that.
In Cuba, over 40 American citizens engaged in voluntary labor, hoping to rebuild from the damage left by the destructive Hurricane Sandy.
We were able to communicate with Cuban workers. We did 2 days of work on a construction site and 4 days of work working in community gardens.
Those who traveled to Cuba are also very adamant that the U.S. blockade should end. The United Nations has already passed resolutions condemning the U.S. blockade of Cuba. Many of those who traveled to the Latin American country are hoping that their efforts can help bring an end to the U.S. economic blockade and travel ban. Caleb Maupin, Press TV, New York.